This video is to describe the process of discharging a patient from the medical SDEC. Firstly, ensure you are in the right location by clicking over here, change location, and we're looking at the medical SDEC BRI. The patient we want to discharge is this patient, Richard. So we click on his name, scroll down to the SDEC view and the SDEC discharge workflow. This allows you to go through the various bits of documentation that are required before you can discharge a patient, with the mandatory fields having a red asterisk. It will pull in the information that's already been stored, like labs and diagnostics, but for the purposes of this, we'll just concentrate on the mandatory windows. So in this case, we haven't yet entered a diagnosis for this patient, but if you had in another workflow, it should pull through. So we click on the problems and diagnoses, and we're going to add a diagnosis here for this visit, and you must make sure it's for this visit or whether it's chronic, and we've got the right diagnostic vocabulary, which is SNOMED ECDS, and we're going to start typing in here. Do we get the right diagnosis? It will then appear here. It's related to this visit, so that's complete there. It's already pulled through information for in these fields, in particular the information for GP. If you do have any actions for the GP, these will be put into the GP letter. This is not the place to just copy and paste your notes. This is actual actions for the GP. So this piece of information will go directly to the GP. If you have any discharge medications, they should be added here. You need to put in who it is that is completing this, which is your own name. Box. You will need to click on the safeguarding button, to click on the down arrow. It's an adult, and there were no safeguarding concerns. Discharge planning is mandatory. So for instance, if there are any things like cannulas that need removing, social or other home things that need sorting out, you can put them in here. But in this case, there's no discharge planning required for this patient. Doesn't need any transport or anything like that. SDEC treatment form is important for coding investigations that have been done. So yes, this patient did have investigations. Things like X-rays, CTs need to be entered. And important things for coding procedures are things like intravenous access, any medications that were given. This patient has some oral medications, and we're going to give them a TTO as well. And finally, the discharge information form. So yes, the patient's safe to go home. They've had documentation for safeguarding completed. They have not received a blood transfusion during this visit. And this discharge status is important. So for instance, this patient actually was streamed from ED to SDEC. So that is the discharge status. They're going home. And in this case, they did require follow-up from the GP to do bloods. Green boxes are all ticked. I notice that the problems and diagnosis box is not ticked, so we'll no chronic problems in this case, and that will untick that box. Finally, importantly, before we can discharge this patient, we need to do two things. One is sort out discharge meds, and if we need any medications we must document them here and then click on the discharge meds note, and that actually sends the prescription to pharmacy. If you do not click on this generating note, the pharmacy will not get the instructions. Going back to the discharge workflow, before you can discharge a patient you must generate the GP letter by clicking on this button. Refresh the screen to make sure it's pulled in the latest information. Check everything is in order. These would all pull through automatically. And then we're going to sign and submit this. So that means the letter's done and it comes up as the SDEC department GP letter. Once the letter has been done, you can then discharge a patient. Note, it is mandatory to do the letter before discharging the patient. Otherwise, there is a huge list of patients that have not been given a discharge letter to the GP. The final part of the stage is to discharge the patient when they have left. Check it's the right patient. Discharge method is that they were streamed to same-day emergency care. Enter the correct date and time of discharge. This is important if you're writing any notes retrospectively. Click on OK. Then close down this patient and refresh our screen. The patient has now come off the system.